going to do is we're going to go ahead and start constructing our first PowerPoint together. We're going to do the Thanksgiving Day PowerPoint. And as you saw from the video beforehand about PowerPoints, the importance of them, things to do, what not to do. So I'm not going to go really over that again. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by first, I want to make sure that you go to my website at mrwadeswift.com. And you can go to Resources. And under Resources, there'll be video here, but we're going to go to the Resources page here. And what that will do is take you immediately to my webpage on the school's website. Now, if you are having issues with doing that, you can always go to salemschools.com, then go to the middle school. Then at the left-hand side, you'll see the links. You'll go to Teachers. Now under Teachers, you'll see the teacher sub-list, and then find my name. It'll take you to the exact same spot. Under here, what you need to do is go to where it says Technology, and then you'll see the PowerPoint section right here. Under here, you will see all the different links that you need to go to. You have your PowerPoint directions, which I'm going to be working with today. The Thanksgiving Day pictures, the Thanksgiving slides, how we're going to construct our slides, and then your future assignments when it comes time for you to do your own project. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I've already opened up the Thanksgiving pictures and the Thanksgiving slides. So the next thing that I need to go ahead and do is I need to go ahead and open a PowerPoint presentation. Now that will be the orange icon, and you'll see it'll say Microsoft Office PowerPoint 2007. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on it to go ahead and open it up. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is, as you can see, the first slide that pops up is your title slide. Now, as I've told you over and over and over, the first thing you need to make sure that you're doing is go ahead and save, be it a Word document, Excel document, or in this case a PowerPoint presentation. Let's go ahead and save this. So I'm going to do a save as, and again I'm going to do a 97-2003 presentation because this is the older way of doing it, because some of the computers that are at the middle school or maybe even your own computer cannot do the newer version of PowerPoint. So we're going to go ahead and keep the older version. When I click on that, I'll have the window that pops up where I would save as window. It does say save as at the top here. And make sure you direct it. Now if you're at school doing this, make sure that you put it in your folders, then go Technology, Grade 6 IT, to your PPT, which is PowerPoint folder. If you're at home, make sure you put it on your flash drive. Put it somewhere that you know where it's going to be. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and save this. And what I'm going to go ahead and save this as, I'm not going to really worry about the username. You can go ahead and do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and call it the first _ Thanksgiving. Again, we use underscores if you're doing this on a large server, as if you're doing it at school. I do underscores so that it keeps the information together, the file name together. If you're at home or doing it on your own flash drive or something like that, you don't really need that. But for this assignment, what I would like for you to do is go ahead and put that underscore between first and Thanksgiving. Then you'll see it says .ppt. Now if this was a newer version, it would say .pptx, just like a Word document is a docx for the newer version. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put this in my IT folder, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then when I look up at the top at our title bar at the very top, now it'll say first _ Thanksgiving.ppt compatibility mode. What that means is I'm able to open it up on newer versions of PowerPoint. So now we're here. When you first open up PowerPoint, you'll come to your title slide. A title slide is very important because of the pure and simple fact that it tells the audience what you're going to be presenting and who is presenting it. So for this right here, we're going to go ahead and put what the title is going to be. And in this case, we're going to call it the first Thanksgiving. Now if you notice around the text box, because you're typing inside of a text box here, you'll see the lines are dash. They're dashed. It's a dashed line. If I click on that, that becomes a solid line all the way around it. Okay, and I also have it selected so you can stretch it. You can make it a larger text box if you want. We're not going to worry about that right now. But you can see that it's a solid line. What that allows me to do is now, instead of having to highlight, if it was a dotted line like this, I'd have to highlight and do all my, for my different font size and all that kind of stuff. But if I do a solid line all the way around, it'll allow me to, I can bold it, I can underline, italicize, change, all that kind of stuff. Now keep in mind, we're not going to do any kind of changing of the font or anything like that until the end, when we've got all of our information on there, our pictures on there and so forth like that, because it becomes more of a process, a longer process if you go ahead and start doing your designs and all that kind of stuff. And once we get this constructed, I'll show you some of what the tabs at the top are, these ribbons that are at the top. So let's go ahead and put in our second one, our subtitle. We're going to put presented by, and then your first and last name. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and click off of it. Anytime you're done dealing with the text, as long as you're not changing font or anything like that, just click in the blue area surrounding it. Now you're not going to format it. You're not going to have any problems with later on when we bring in items and that. It won't go in the text box. We'll also make sure we're not going to format this accidentally or anything like that. So there's your first slide. Now let's talk about some of the ribbons up at the top. First, obviously, it's the home ribbon. The home ribbon kind of looks like what you're used to when it comes to words. You have your font, you have your paragraph. Now there are some different things in the paragraph. You'll notice you have some new things. You got a clipboard here, you have slides, you also have a drawing part of it, and editing. Now the next one that's up here is insert. You're used to that when it comes to Word. You have your pictures, shapes, photo album, clip art, all that kind of stuff. Word art is up here. Text box, header, footers, all that kind of stuff is right up here. Also, you can insert movies, you can insert sounds and all that kind of stuff. Now, this is the design part. Again, we're not going to worry about this until towards the end of this. But as you can see, when I start moving my mouse over top of them, you can see your design starts changing along with the font style and the font of your words. So you can see that's why we don't even want to deal with changing the font, because if you decide on one of these up here at the top, these themes that are up here, you won't have to worry about it. And you can click on the little eject button down here. You can see there's even a lot more themes, and there's a lot more themes if you go to Office Online and download them, which we're not going to go do that here in the class, but you can do that on your own and we can look at that. You also have different color schemes that you can use throughout, the different font themes that you can use, and then different effects that you can use. But again, that's for later on. And in the background styles, if you just want to do a simple background style without changing really the font, you can do that as well. The animations, we're going to get into this when we start dealing with our pictures and that kind of stuff, but you can animate text, and we'll talk about that later. Here we're talking about transitions. Transitions are the action that takes place from slide to slide. It is a good idea to have transitions on your slideshow because it shows a break between one slide to another slide, or maybe even one idea to the other idea. You have your slide transition sounds, so you can choose different sounds for them. Your speed, come in fast, slow, medium. And then, of course, apply to all means you're going to apply all your actions that you're doing through here to all the slides. Now, the advanced slide we'll work on later on another project. Right now, we're going to leave it as a mouse click. But if you wanted to do it automatically, you can change it to automatically so it changes after certain seconds, minutes, however long you want to set it. Or you can make it so you can click off of this, and then there's no way that you can go ahead and click or do anything to it. You would have to add a shape or something, add a function so that you would be able to click and go to the next slide or where you want it to go. But like I said, we're going to leave the mouse click on it. Slideshow, we can start from the beginning, from the current slide. custom slideshow. We can do the setup slideshow, and of course hide slide. What hide slide lets you do is, say if you've got a bunch of different slides and you don't want that slide to show up for whatever unknown reason for a particular presentation, depending on who your audience is, what you're doing it for, you may not want a particular slide to show up for those people. You have a PowerPoint that you use, but you don't want that slide to show up, so you can hide it. And then record narration, rehearse timing, and so forth. The review, spell check, research, you can look synonyms for words and so forth like that. Then view. The view is very important because we'll talk this more when we get more slides, but it allows you to look at it in different ways. There's a slide sort of view, which allows you to see all your slides that are on there, or most of them. A notes page. This is really useful if you're doing a presentation and you don't want to use every single word. You don't want to put every word that you're using on the slideshow. Slideshow is really a basic summary of what you're going to say. So you can do these slide notes, these notes page, and you can put in what exactly you want to say to your audience. The slideshow, it starts right from the beginning. Then you have your slide master, handout masters, and then notes master. You can also put grid lines on this to see everywhere where you're going to put information or so forth like that. You also have your ruler at the top. Again, in a standard PowerPoint, you won't really need to worry about your ruler, but later on when we do a project, we will be using this ruler quite a bit. We'll also be using our grid lines as well too. And then you have, we're not going to really worry about all the other stuff. You can zoom in. I like keeping it right at 65. In this case, this is 64, the zoom in effect. Also, your different views are down here at the bottom. There's your slide sorter view, and then where you're at right then and there. And to get out of this, I simply just press escape, and that allows me to jump right out of it. But I'm going to go back to the normal view. So that's a brief, very quick review of the different ribbons at the top. So